It gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Jackie Mason to the Oxford Union Society for this evening's address. Before the festivities begin, it also gives me great pleasure to offer Mr. Mason the freedom of and membership of the Oxford Union Society in recognition of his particular comic genius and his contribution to the humour of our times. Mr. Mason. Mr. Jackie Mason.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Could you hear me well? Good. I'm very touched and amazed at this phenomenal honor. I know it's a phenomenal honor. They keep reminding me that that's what it is. I'm not familiar enough with these honors to know how much exactly it means, because they tell me only 2 people got it in 10 years. Then I heard 12 people got it in 2 years. Then I heard nobody got it and nobody deserves it, and I'm the only one they picked out. I don't know exactly what I did to get this, because I was told that no comedian ever got this kind of an award. Is this true? Is this true? So maybe they don't think I'm exactly a comedian. I don't know. I don't know what the exact story is on this whole situation, but I'm very honored to be here because I know this is a hallowed institution, although nobody here ever looked like they could afford a jacket, a suit, I never understood why when you go to college you have to look bad to look like you belong. And the speaker is supposed to be dressed up. I'm the one who's working for nothing. I have to be dressed up. I could never understand it. Ordinarily, when you go to perform any place, the audience is all dressed up because it's a special occasion. Here, because it's a college, you're not supposed to be looking too good. Because if, God forbid, you wear a tie, it's out. So in order to look like you belong, you have to look like each other, which is as bad as possible. And I respect it, because I know this is an institution, and you have to respect whatever the institutional system is. Now the question is, why am I here? I don't know. Ordinarily, I get $60,000 to do a show. Here I'm working for nothing. They told me I'm working for nothing because it's an honor to be here. Not only do you work for nothing here, but I found out that after you deliver the lecture, everybody has a right to attack you for everything you stand for all your life. You have a right to call your names for an hour. The ritual is that you're supposed to prove that you're worthy of the positions you took all your life, or the humor you represent, or what you are as a person. Why I deserve this kind of a treatment, I don't know. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't care if you believe I'm right or not. If you think I stink, why should I care? The only thing I can get out of this whole appearance is that I could come back here and work for nothing again. Is that all I have to look forward to? Now I'm supposed to deliver a lecture here for 45 minutes. About what? About everything that I represent as a comedian. I don't know exactly what the subject matter should be, because all my life I tell jokes. But they told me, don't tell jokes here, because they want to know more about you. What it is about me, they want to know, except for the fact that I tell jokes, I don't know. Because my personal life is none of your business. I don't go from house to house asking you what happened in your career. But this is a hallowed institution. You're supposed to go along with the system. Now, the system is that I talk for 45 minutes. Let me tell you what I would like to talk to you about. What I'd like to talk to you about is why it is that I became such a hit in this country, because ordinarily, comedians who come here from the United States stink here in about 10 minutes. And most of your comedians from England who've gone to America stink in 10 minutes, too. There's some subtle difference in somehow the way people refer to their attitudes, their culture, the world they live in, that somehow is different between here and the United States. And when you ask people, what is that difference? Why does a comedian usually not go over here if he's such a sensation there, and vice versa? This is a very interesting question. And you want me to tell you the truth? I don't know. And I have no idea why my career started to become a hit here, because for 30 years in the United States, I got nowhere most of my life. I only became a star in the United States about 4 or 5 years ago after struggling with a career that was getting absolutely nowhere. I represent the Jew who was always too Jewish to be in show business. And the people who decided that I don't belong in show business are the Jews. But Jews have a big problem with me, because Jews spend their whole life trying to prove they're not Jewish. Sounding Jewish doesn't sound good. You're not supposed to even look Jewish. You're allowed to be Jewish and be proud that you're Jewish, but you're not supposed to look it. Every Jew tells you, I'm proud to be Jewish. Then they spend their whole life cutting off their names, their noses, cutting off Every time you say hello to a Jew, you're talking to bandages for an hour and a half from working. Because Jews spend their whole life trying to avoid their identity. The worst crime you could commit to a Jewish girl is to tell her she actually looks Jewish. Tell a Gentile girl she looks Jewish, she doesn't know if it's a compliment or not. What do Jews look like? She's not sure. But if you tell a Jewish girl she looks Jewish, they'll wind up under a truck in a second. Every Jewish girl likes to think she looks a little Hawaiian, French, I look Italian, I look Spanish. I think I look German. Do you think I look Hawaiian? Do I look this? And if you tell her she looks Jewish, it's impossible. She's got nothing to live for. That's why to Jews, if you sound like an Italian, it's romantic. A Frenchman, sexy. As soon as you sound Jewish, after every show, there's always a woman who walks over to me and says, why do you have to talk like that? You don't have to talk. But the truth of the matter is the way to overcome it is the Jews always found that the way to overcome it is to achieve status in an alien society. One of the ways the Jews always achieved status is by going to college where nobody else went to college. They always felt that if you become more educated than everybody else in your area, than everybody else in your society, if you become the most educated people will have to depend on you and need you. Once they need you, they won't persecute you. If you achieve status by becoming a doctor, that's why Jewish kids always went to college, so their children should become doctors. To this day, the greatest pride in every Jewish home is to have a son a doctor. Unless he's a little retarded, a lawyer. His mind don't work at all, an accountant. But they would prefer him to be a doctor. That's why in a Jewish family, it's always embarrassing if a son drives a truck. In a Gentile family, in the typical middle-class Gentile families, whether it's the United States or here, they're proud if their son drives a truck. He has an honest job, and they'll even tell you about the truck he drives. The parents will tell you, oh, my son drives some truck. This is the biggest truck you ever saw. It's got wheels on all sides, tons like anything. If a Jew has a son that's trying to, he hides in Philadelphia. You walk over to any Jew whose son drives a truck and he can't look you in the face. He's nauseous, embarrassed. He says, I wouldn't say he drives, he sits in a truck. I wouldn't say. How does it look? A truck is moving, there's nobody there, somebody has to be there, so in case. He's not really driving, he's controlling the truck. I'll always tell you the same thing. He's a controller in the trucking business. Why is it that a Jew will buy a boat? No Jew ever drove a boat. No Jewish boat ever moved. The boat is to show it to you that he has a boat. That's my boat. You saw it? Good. Let's get the hell out. It's the same reason why a Jew has a Mercedes when a Gentile always has a Chevy. Do you notice that a Jew will have a Mercedes when a Gentile has a Chevy? You know, you almost can't find one Jew with a Chevy or a Ford. And even this includes the Jews who can't make a living, who are unemployed for 12 years. They still would not be caught dead with a Chevy. That's right. You see a Jew with a Chevy, it's not my regular car. I don't know what it's doing here. My real car is in the garage. This is my sister-in-law. I don't know what she bought it here. I don't have it. It's not, I don't know who left it. I can't. A Jew has to have a Mercedes. Do you ever notice that? Every Jew has to have a Mercedes. And they'll always convince themselves that's because the car is better. Like they're all experts, they're geniuses in construction of cars. Every Jew will tell you, oh, I don't believe, status symbols mean nothing to me. I have the Mercedes because of the engineering, He can't figure out how to turn on the radio, but he's an expert. He's an expert in engineering. Do you understand this? Huh? I pity a Gentile who can't afford a Mercedes, because if a Gentile can't afford a Mercedes, he has no excuse. A Jew who can't afford a Mercedes has a perfect excuse. Every Jew who can't afford a Mercedes, I'll tell you the same thing. You think I'm going to buy a German car? Not me.